Today's player breakdown is on Joel Embiid, who according to most is leading, if not definitely top 3 in this season's current MVP race. Now this particular breakdown won't go on too long, just because with great players like Embiid, you can really go on and on about all the things that they do well. However, he is one of my favorite players in the league to watch, so if you guys have any thoughts or comments, feel free to share. The first thing I wanted to talk about with Embiid was his mid-range game. Now, I knew he was good from the mid-range, however, until watching more games recently and more film, I didn't realize he was as great of a mid-range shooter as he is. He takes a lot of them, and he shoots them at a high clip. He's shooting 58% from the field this season. And of course, being 7 foot tall, he's able to get that off over anybody. I honestly think he's not only one of the better big men shooting from mid-range, but one of the better mid-range shooters in general in the league. Now, right here is the first clip I want to stop. This is a shot that a lot of people don't necessarily love from him too often, only because he's a good but not great three-point shooter. And in his past, he has had tendency to when he makes one or two, he'll get trigger happy and hang out around the arc. Now, part of that, people will tell you, is it helps Philly's spacing, especially with Ben Simmons not shooting the three. However, I'm fine with it because, I mean, he's a 7 foot 3 level scorer. And if he's hitting that shot, it only makes him even harder to guard. Now, he is shooting it at an all-time low this season in terms of attempts. He's only taking 3 a game. But for percentage, he's shooting at an all-time high. He's shooting 40% from 3 this season. You know, being able to hit that shot's only going to make him even more impossible to stop than he is now. This next clip right here is one thing that I'll get into more as we go on that he's been doing better is really punishing and not letting smaller guards off the hook on them down low. This right here is something you love to see if you're a Philly fan. It's nothing new, of course. They've been running this play for a while now. It's just the low pick and roll with him and Ben Simmons, keeping them both in the paint where, you know, if he gets that deep, it's over. And they're both really tough down there. So you love to see that if you're a Philly fan. That's a play they've ran for a while now. Here it is again. Tristan Thompson is a small dude, and he's just bully ball down there. And what that leads to is this next play. Now this right here is huge. This is what Joel Embiid, I believe, is going to have to do at a very high level for Philly to really reach their potential this season. And that's play make out of double teams. Now I'm not saying he can't. He has done it. But I think he'll have to do it at a very elite level for Philly to be as good as they can be. Because once it comes around to playoff time, him being as dominant as he has been, he's going to see a double team almost every single catch. And this is why you go out and get Danny Green. This is why you go out and get Seth Curry. They've got Tobias Harris. They've got shooters. And for example, if he slips here, you got to be able to hit Ben on that slip as well. There you see it works out. But I think that's going to be huge in Embiid's game this season, is being able to play make. Something else you'll notice, and a lot of these guys do it. These guys are all great. On his mid-range, he loves to give a little bump. You'll see LeBron and Kawhi do it. Some other greats who do it really well. Use his strength, give a bump, create some space, and go into it. Right there is just overpowering. That may have been an offensive foul, but regardless, you see the strength. There it is again, the bump into the mid-range. I'd be curious. You hear a lot of the guys talk about, Steven Adams and guys like that. I'd be curious what players think Joel Embiid is in terms of some of the strongest players in the league. Because I've seen him do that to LeBron, Giannis, AD. There's a flash. Now, I will say, and you'll see this a couple more times, I believe, and you know about the footwork already, he has the best Euro step for any big man in the league. Just to kind of give you a heads up on what's going to happen here, almost the next 2 or 3 minutes are him just playing bully ball against the Heat. They've got Precious Achiuwa against him, who's a rookie, and there's nothing he can do. He's completely at Embiid's will. Face up, takes him to the rim. He's a tough matchup, and I really only think I don't think there's anybody, I really don't, who can guard him. That's why I wanted to ask this question, and I'll hold off and I'll ask you here in a second. This is another connection you love to see if you're a Philly fan. This one right here is not a play. That's why it's huge. This is just the read between Ben and Joel. The flash, the backdoor cut, the lob. That's beautiful. But the question I wanted to ask was, okay, so you take all the best players in the league at their best. They're all playing up to their abilities. You see the Euro step again. At his will completely. But all the best players in the league play their best. Where would you have Joel Embiid? Because I honestly believe behind maybe LeBron, KD, and I'd say Anthony Davis is close. At his best, I think besides those guys, I don't know who's better than Joel Embiid. The problem is he isn't that all the time, and we'll talk about that in a while. The consistency and being able to stay on the court have been his biggest concern. There you see something else I wanted to mention. Besides James Harden, he might be the best in the league at getting to the free throw line. I know Giannis is up there as well, but I genuinely believe the way he uses his sweeps, his pump fakes. There you see the shot fake into it and one, and he shoots 83% from there. So he's really almost a four-level scorer. He's wherever you can score from, he's good from. Now here we'll get into some of his defensive highlights. We all know what he is as a shot blocker. This is a great effort play for him to hawk him down and get that block. But the thing I really wanted to look at was this next play coming up. I wish I could have found more examples of this clip right here. I've seen him do it a lot, but I couldn't find the clips. He is an exceptional. You see his feet on offense. You see how quick they can be. For a big, he's exceptional on switching off and guarding elite guards. Here's Bradley Beal, sticks with them. You can argue that was a foul, but I've watched the clip back a couple times, and I don't believe it was. I think it was a good strip. But I've seen him do it on guys like Jason Tatum, Devin Booker. He can switch off and hold his own. Even some of the other elite shot blocking bigs. AD is another one who's good at it, but you see like Rudy Gobert, you've seen him get spun around like a top by Steph Curry. Even Giannis struggles on ball defending sometimes. He is an exceptional on ball defender on the perimeter when he wants to be. This right here is a play that I watched at first, and I had no idea how he got it. That's something else I was thinking of. Is he takes up a lot of space down there. This is just that's just a great play. Um, Something else that you'll see right here is another block, but he's also done a great job of not only beating people at the rim, but getting his hands on more loose balls this season. He's at his career high in steals, as you see. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, gets a hand on it. Steal, we're off to transition. He's at 1.2 steals a game this season. So he's impacting defense more than just with blocking people at the rim. This is another great one. This right here, so I'll go ahead and let it play and then play it back, is extremely impressive. So he goes for the charge. As you'll see, he doesn't get it. For a lot of guys, that's either you're getting the block, the charge call, or the play's over, and Valanciunas is getting a dunk. He doesn't get the charge, turns, catches up, meets him at the rim. That's perfect right there. Leads to a transition break. They have to foul to stop ball. Here's another deflection he gets. He takes up, like I said before, he's so big down there. I'm not sure exactly what RJ Barrett thought was going to happen here. It didn't work. And then here's just another example. Looks, realize what he just did right here. He stopped. Who was that? Devontae Graham. Yeah, Devontae Graham from being able to get the layup on either side while also stopping PJ Washington at the rim, and then meeting him at the rim again before finally getting the rebound. That's just flawless. And that's really all I've got on Embiid today. Of course, I touched on his weaknesses. It's really just his consistency, which is shown over the years to be an issue, and just staying on the court. Those would be the two biggest things that have hindered him. But if you guys have any thoughts, like I always said, feel free to let me know. If you also have any requests for any player or team breakdowns, feel free to tell me about those as well. But I hope you enjoyed it.